Hello, welcome. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Fitment Industries Garage. And we are here today with yet another episode of What Wheels Fit, where we go over all different types of wheel, tire, and suspension setups and fitment for different vehicles to help you guys out in your journey to find a new setup for your car. I'm Jels from Fitment Industries, and today we are going to be covering a well-requested car and one that we've seen in the gallery quite often, or actually just quite often. And that is going to be the third generation of the Mazda 3. Before we go ahead and get right into it, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. It helps us out a ton. And check out some of the other videos that we have right here on the Fitment Industries Garage channel. And of course, once you're done with this video, know what wheels are going to fit your Mazda 3. Don't forget to hit us up over at fitmentindustries.com to check out all sorts of wheels, tires, and suspension that we have available for your car. Anyway, that was terrible. There, that's better. What we do is try to make this as simple and as straightforward as we possibly can, because picking out wheels for your car is a huge deal, and it's definitely something that you want to get right the first time so you don't show up with your new setup and all your friends make fun of you because like your fitment is just bunk. So what we're going to do is take a look at some of the Mazda 3s sitting in our fitment gallery right now over at fitmentindustries.com and go over what they are running specifically for their wheel, tire, and suspension setups. So first thing that you're going to need to know right out the gate is that these cars are going to have a 5x114.3 bolt pattern. For the recommended fitment range, we're looking at diameters from 18 to 20 inches, 7 to 8.5 inches for the width, and an offset landing anywhere between plus 37 and plus 50. So actually not a huge range as far as diameter and width goes for these cars, but that difference really comes into play, especially with the fitment with that offset, because offset is a huge factor to determine what your fitment is going to be. So let's go ahead and get into our first group of cars for today. We're going to have a good setup and fitment for those who are looking to daily drive their car and don't want to ruin the drivability. So these cars are not going to have anything too aggressive. They won't require any fender rolling or anything like that. And most importantly, they're not going to have any rubbing issues. So first car of the day to get everything started, we are going to take a look at this 2018 Mazda 3 GX. Now for the wheels, we're looking at some XXR 527s with a size of 18x8 with a plus 42 offset. For tires, we have a size of 225/40 and then all together sitting on some Cork Sport lowering springs. With this setup, we're looking at a nearly flush fitment on this car with a little bit of drop in ride height with thanks from those lowering springs. So like I said, a good daily setup for this car. Next up, we have another 2018, this time a GT trim rocking some niche DFS wheels. This time we have a size of 18x8 again, but dropping that offset just a little bit to a plus 40. For tires, we have some Michelin Pilot Sport All Season 3s, 215/45 for the size, and then sitting on some Eibach lowering springs this time around. So a pretty flush fitment with this wheel and tire setup, a little more flush than the previous since we dropped that offset a little bit, about 2 millimeters. And again, a great daily setup that does not require any modifications to get that wheel and tire setup to fit. For the last car of this first group, we are going to take a look at this 2016 Touring with some F1R F29s, a very popular wheel that we see sold at fitmentindustries.com. So going up a ½ inch in width on this car, we are looking at some 18x8.5 with a plus 38 offset, 235/40 for the size of the Nitto Neo Gen tires, and then yet again sitting on some Eibach lowering springs. So a very flush setup with this car, bumping up to that 8.5. With lowering springs, there are no rubbing issues or anything. However, I would imagine if you're looking at a similar wheel and tire size with some coilovers, you're gonna have to get your fenders rolled just to make sure that you have enough room. The next group of cars is going to start to get a little more aggressive with their fitments. Things like fender rolling are going to become pretty common, and instead of lowering springs, we're going to see them swapped out for some coilovers. Other things like camber plates and lower control arms and things like that are probably going to become more common as well. So first up, we have a 2016 GS with some rotiform LASRs, 18x8.5 with a plus 35 offset. For the tires, we have some El Tenzo Sports, 225/35 for the size, and then sitting on some BC Racing coilovers. A very flush fitment with the fenders rolled to make some room, followed by this 2018 with some ESR SR01s. Now these are an 18x8.5 with a plus 30 offset, so dropping 5 millimeters in offset compared to our last car. Federal 595s with a size of 225/40 and then sitting on some Raceland coilovers, fenders rolled again, and then some camber plates and rear control arms to help dial in that camber a bit so nothing rubs. Right around 3 degrees is what they're specifying. And then to wrap up our second group of cars, we are going to take a look at this 2017 GT with some rotiform LASRs again. However, this time a 19x8.5 with a plus 35 offset, so giving us our first 19-inch example of the day. 225/35 for the Achilles ATR Sport tires, and then sitting on some BC Racing coils again to get that drop in ride height. Fenders rolled, and this car is running a -3 degrees of camber all around, still having a slight rub at full turn though, probably because of that offset and that increase in diameter. So all said and done, if you're looking for a daily setup, 18x8 is going to be your friend. If you're looking for something a little more aggressive, 18x8.5 right around plus 35 offset is going to be that go-to. If you want to play with the diameter a little bit, you can get away with 19s and 20s. You don't see it very common, you know, as much as the 18s. 18s seem to be pretty much the go-to. But if you want to check out some other Mazda 3s sitting in the gallery right now, feel free to head on over to fitmentindustries.com. It's a free tool to use. It's a fantastic tool to figure out, you know, your next set of wheels and tires or what that might look like, determining, you know, what you're going to need for your size and all that kind of stuff. It's where we gathered all this information from. So feel free to head on over there and check it out for yourself. Other than that, wheels, tires, suspension, fitmentindustries.com. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. We'll see you later. Peace.